Yeah, we're going to try something different today, seeing what we can get by with. A lot of people say you got to have neutral density filters to run video, and I didn't even realize it, but Pocket 3s don't have an aperture. So the only way they can control the exposure is like a cell phone, is through kicking up the shutter speed so high. So let's go ahead and try some experiments here. We're going to do the same thing. Right now I've got the camera locked on an ISO 100 and 125th of a shutter speed because we're going to shoot at 60 frames per second. And I do have it on the my Canapeer 3E gimbal. I do most of my work with this gimbal because it smooths out. Got the RF16 lens, no stabilization on the lens, and I'm not using electronic stabilization in the camera. So just going to see how that does. I got exposure locked, so I'm going to go along here and we're going to just use the shutter speed, keep upping it, and see what point we miss getting smooth video. And it'll be an interesting experiment. I'm sure I've done this in the past, but I thought, well, let's revisit that and see what happens here. Okay, this test, 60 frames per second, 125th of a second at a f16. That's your basic sunny exposure for film cameras. Goes back, I don't know, probably 100 years. Let's just see how smooth this goes. Doing a side pan, because that's when you'll notice the higher frame or the shutter speeds. Let's use that old garage and the white highlights as a test here. Okay, in this test we went down to f11, so we increased the exposure, but then we went up to 1/250th of a second. So the exposure should be the same, and we'll walk here, see if it looks the same. Now it could be I'm going pretty slow here. If you was going to whip the camera around, the higher shutter speeds might be a distraction. This kind of started, I thought I got the option of a ISO 50 in video mode on this camera, but I do not. That's only option when you're taking still pictures. I thought I could go down to 50 and then increase the aperture, but I can't. So I'm stuck at a ISO 100. But here I went down to f8, so the lens is getting more and more open, and we're running a 500th of a second shutter speed. Well, my camera temperature meter is actually coming up. The sun is kind of hitting the back of the camera here, and it's only probably about 75 degrees. But okay, here we're going f5.6 at 1,000th of a second shutter. Remember those DJI Pocket 3s probably have an aperture like f2, so they've really got to increase the shutter speed. Okay, now we're at f4 at 2,000ths of a second. Okay, for now, for the final one, we're at f2.8 and 4,000ths of a second. So I'm not getting very many comments on my videos, and I don't know if because most of you are watching it on a smart TV and just don't have access to those comments unless you open up your smartphone. But I'd like to know what you think of these tests and see if you notice any difference. I think it's just simple tests. I don't see many people covering it. If they do, it's in a 20-minute video. I tried to do something short here. I won't get very many views, but that's not really the goal. Here I'm shooting it the same as my last f2.8 at 4 thousandths of a second. Is that even doable? Realistically, it probably is. I mean, that's what all the cell phones do. They don't tell you that. Some people look, oh, it's going to be too sharp. That's all I wanted to do in 4K. I don't know if it's too sharp, but you know, when you start squeezing the lens down past f11, you're going to soften the image. We didn't even try f22, but I don't think in 4K you would notice that softening. There's not quite enough detail. On a 24 megapixel image there might be. So you can see the picture's going to get pretty dark here since I got the exposure locked. I'm in the shade now. But if you want to blur the background, probably totally doable running f2.8 here. Oh, that sun's bright. It's about 9:30 in the morning here. We'll see if this combination can be my lightweight run and gun type. I wouldn't normally shoot at f2.8 here. Probably the focus is going to hunt quite a bit. And these don't have a focus pull compensation. So the image size changes when it focuses, but it might be just fine. Maybe these tests will prove that you really don't need to buy a neutral density filter. Maybe it'll prove that you do. I know for this little lens, it takes an odd 43 millimeter size. I can get a 3-stop neutral density Tiffin brand, which is decent, about 18 bucks.